Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about some aspects of the Harry Potter novels. And as you all know, this is a very broad and long field, and one could actually spend a whole series of lectures on that subject. But since we don't have the time for this, I want to concentrate on some aspects of the novels which I hope are new to you, or at least not so much investigated in the field of literary criticism. You might all have asked yourself before why the novels are so successful. They are indeed one of the most successful, some say the most successful series of novels in literary history. The value of the brand Harry Potter at the moment is something about 15 billion, with a B, $billion. And the films made from the books are the second highest crossing series ever. I suppose James Bond might be the highest, but I haven't investigated that. So what I want to try is to look into aspects of the Harry Potter series which could explain or could help to explain the reason for that success. Particularly since we all know that J.K. Rowling started to advertise her books and give them to various publishing houses before, after a series of failures, Bloomsbury accepted the rights for the first Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and gave her something like £1,500 for the rights of the first book. Literary criticism looks into various aspects of literature, and literature is, other than you might think, not simply a book, because the book, or the literary text as we prefer to call it, in this case the novel or the novels, is situated in a strand of communication. It starts with a reality in which the author lives and about which the author somehow writes, or out of which he or she takes information. It continues with the author, him or herself, who composes the text, rewrites the text, and sends it somewhere to be published. And of course, it centers on the text, whether it is a material one or whether it's simply an audible one or one written in the internet. It centers on the text itself, which has, of course, to be read or heard by a recipient, a reader. And then, of course, that reader lives in a reality into which some aspects of the texts will be transported. I will not look into the fields around the text. I actually want to look into the text itself and try to answer the question why the Harry Potter novels are so successful, and try to help to understand. You might, when asked why they are so successful, have gone into fields of the characters, saying they are very likable, you follow them, you identify with them. You might have gone into the fields of the school, which everybody knows all over the world, and so it provides a setting which can be easily understood by everybody. Or you might have a look into the time structure, where 7 succeeding years in each of the novels comprise, so to say, the school period of a boy. These are all important, together with the tremendous inventiveness of J.K. Rowling's language, but they are not all. What I want to look into is what we call intertextuality, the relation of the Harry Potter novels, both in subject as well as in structure, to forms of novels, particularly English novels, British novels later on, which are important in the development of the novel as a literary genre. There are a variety, or there is a variety of novels which can be traced, or the bits and pieces of which can be traced in the Harry Potter series. I would like to start with a very famous novel, Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, published in 1719 at the beginning of the Enlightenment, and being one of the first novels and the first adventure novel. Adventures, everybody know. Harry has to go through, together with Hermione and Ron, quite a lot, starting from exploring the Hogwarts world and later on all kinds of places, including, of course, islands, and cities. The next novel I would like to mention is Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, and all the little and tall people we find there, plus the series of strange creatures and animals as the speaking horses at the very end of the novel. Here we find an echo in Harry Potter too. The next novel, in the middle of Enlightenment, 1749, is Tom Jones, the first Bildungsroman, or educational novel that we know of, and of course the education both in school as well as out of school in making experience is very important in Harry Potter too, and structures the novels. One of the most important influences, however, comes from the Gothic novel, in German Schauerroman, which provides, so to say, insights into the darker abysses. Voldemort, the castle, the subterranean places, the alleys, and of course a lot of gruesome experiences go into the direction of the Gothic. Furthermore, we have social aspects, as for instance in Charles Dickens' novels, which probably everybody know, and one of the most important elements comes from the end of the 19th century, namely the detective novel. So Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes stories and novels, most famously perhaps The Hound of the Baskervilles of 1902, provide the structure of the Harry Potter novels insofar as Harry finds a mystery, and together with his helpers, as Sherlock Holmes does with Watson, he tries to solve them. He does so in each individual novel, and he does so in the whole series, in the whole heptology, to solve the mystery, to rescue the world, and solve the riddle, which actually, in the case of Voldemort, almost personally is there. So when you think about this, you have an intrinsic explanation of the successes of Harry Potter, because the novels, to some extent, give structurally and by way of content a bit to everybody, to every reader, or when you think of the films, to every viewer. And that might be an additional explanation to the success. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.